Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben back with you in the model shop. On today's episode we are going to go ahead and cover some of the photo etch detail with the stairs on the lower part of the superstructure of the ship and getting that wrapped up, and then the big item we're moving on to is the funnel stack. There's a whole bunch of photo etch parts that go on. Some come with the kit and then the rest of them come with the Eduard photo etch kit, and then there's all the kit parts that go on. So we'll go ahead and get that all assembled, painted up, and show you that process, and I think that's about it. So let's move on and check it out. So we're moving on to starting to do some of these photo etch stairs, and some of you may wonder, how do I go from this to this? And I think that those look pretty nice. The solution, obviously you got to take these out and you have to use your bender, but when you're done, I stick them on a little piece of paper, and there's some sticky tack on there, as you can see. Just push it in a little bit, and this will allow you to hit it nicely with your airbrush. And then I number the cards, like this is part number 36, because there's only 2 of them, but they're a different shape and they go in a different location than all the other ones. That number 36 I think actually ends up going right in here, and then if we pan up over here, there's another one right up there that goes in this area on the bow. That's number 76. So I've just made cards labeling everything, and that makes it really easy just to shoot them. Paint stays up here, you know which ones they are, and you can go ahead and install them. So let's go ahead and get some more of this done. Alright, stairs are wrapped up, at least on the lower level here. I call them stairs. They're steep enough to be ladders, but not quite. So we've got our 2 here, again in keeping with trying to get our entire lower area assembled. Here we have the starboard front stair getting you up to the first main level. Here on our starboard side as well, you've got your little collection. These are the first ones I did. I put the crummier ones on the inside. You know, it takes a little bit of practice. Here's the port side ones. They look really nice, but they could be a little bit finicky, and the ones up front turned out better because I'd done a little practice. So anyway, they look good. Let's move on to the next stage of the build here. Moving on to some larger sub-assemblies, it's time to start working on the main stack, and I chose that because if you look here at the instructions, you can see that it does go down basically in the center here all by itself. Notice that I've highlighted this item here, parts Bravo 15 and 37, and put them together. If you look very carefully right here, you'll see that that part of the stack, that pipe, goes down into on top of this piece. I was trying to figure out what that hole was when I put this piece on, but there it is, and it needed to go into place first, so I did that. Now the instructions are not that complicated. You have basically this page 18 here shows you everything that you need to do, but once again, what about photo etch detail and stuff like that? So dug through my kits, and again, this is the Arizona Part 1 Cranes for Trumpeter kit. It says cranes on it. Here's all the stuff, and you open up the cranes instructions, and of course, like we saw in a previous video, there's all sorts of stuff about the guns. But you flip it over and boom, right here is all the stuff for the main stack, and there's a fair amount of detail here. So let's go ahead and start hacking away at that, and we'll get all the parts cleaned up and put together and remove everything in red has to be removed, and get this put together, and then we'll actually have something to fill that hole and something to start giving a little bit of height to our build here. So here's some initial progress on the stack. I'm just going to call it the smokestack. I think that's the funnel, if you will. The photo etch requires you to remove a whole bunch of surfaces. Ironically, this raised surface right here is the only one that's not. but all three up on top here and the two up in front have to come off. So I went ahead and glued it together. Just used, for those of you who don't know, use a curved blade. It really allows you the most flexibility for getting inside there and going around a curve and following odd shaped surfaces for cleaning things up. Then the top of the stack, this piece is actually turned out pretty nice here. It has these photo etch pieces inside, and it's actually the kit provided PE. It's a little bit thicker than your Eduard stuff, so it's robust. It was easy to drop in there. I was really happy with it. This is one of the pieces, but it's pretty heavy. It's thicker stuff. Next item up, these are the two of the stations that mount on the side of the funnel. As you can see, they have different holes in them. There is an orientation. You need to follow instructions. I'm pretty confident that the 4 holes here on the outside edges, I'm going to call them the 4 versus the 6 that we have here, go on the top, and on the inside of these, as you can see, there's a little hatch right there. The instructions imply that that goes down. So then I may have misspoke. That would make these 4 going on the bottom here. Yeah, that's correct. The 4 go on the bottom. If we look at the instructions, it's really a big clue right there that you got the 4 mounting locations and the funnel's upside down. So, next thing here, also more PE. We're going to start to add this part to the front. We're going to have to look into this situation. There's just all these little parts that you kind of got to slowly move along here and pick through and figure out how you're going to do. Right here, that's the 3 that you remove on the top, and then we have the little red ladders. We're going to have to put those all in. So let's go ahead, and the next thing here on the stack is going to be smooth all this out, get it all nice and polished up, take care of the main seam right here, where this is all glued together, and polish it up, and then we'll get the photo etch attached. So let's do that. Well, here we go. All of the photo etch is on. Just make a quick short little pass around the horn here so you can see what's going on, and then we'll talk about a few things here. First item, I guess let's go down here a little bit. You've got a couple of little supports. One's right there, and there's another one over there on the other side. Those are numbered, different part numbers, and turns out they have a direction, so make sure you pay attention to the number when you put it on. Underneath, let's see if we can get down so you can take a peek and see. Here's your little hatch and your ladder going up. The 2 pink areas, the light pink areas, those are sinks in the plastic that I filled in with the putty. Same red stuff that I mentioned before. Used it on the back, and then you can see right here in the 2 corners, those are some pretty big gaps, so I went ahead and used that. That's the red Bondo. Eduard photo etch detail on this entire thing, except for 2 places. One we mentioned already is the top of the stack. Zoom out here a little bit. That's a kit part. Everything else here is Eduard, except for the machine guns. Some of you might remember when I built the 5-inch guns, they had 50 caliber barrels, and I thought they went on the 5-inch guns, and it turns out no, they go right there. 2 of them do anyway, and the other one will be for the, here's the back side of that. The other ones, I'm assuming we'll find various locations that ship where they mount, but the kit provided barrels were terrible, and this one is not terrible. So, I think that's really it. We come up here, take a peek down inside. You can see the kit photo etch turned out real nice. I tell you what, the thing that's really nice is they have this edge, big thick area that you're able to go ahead and glue onto an equally thick piece of plastic, and that made a lot of difference in terms of easing the ability to put this thing on. The only other thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you can even see it on here, there is a ladder way inside of there, and I thought about, there it is, comes in focus, painting the entire inside of this a nice white. But then I realized it was going to make it difficult to paint and mask off, and so I decided I'm going to leave it and shoot it the way that it is. And yeah, that's it. This piece right here that you see sticking out all over the place, this plumbing, matches that piece on the deck that I shot in a previous video right there that goes, it sits on there. So what I did is I set the whole funnel on the ship, glued this into position, and made sure that it lined up. Anyway, this is it. It's all done. Nice evening of work. Really pleased with how it turned out. I wanted to show it to you before I painted it so that you could see all the photo etch detail. Next order of business is just to go ahead and paint it up and get it put on the ship. Let's go ahead and dry fit it on the ship real quick just so you can get a quick peek at what that looks like. So here we go. It's on the ship, just sitting in place. As you can see, it's as big as it is. Once you get it up here, it doesn't take up very much space at all. But it is now the highest point on board. I did this because we have all sorts of superstructures got to be built up here. We have this rear tower that gets built up here, and then all the ship's boats get built in here. And this is really the middle. And so it's real important that this was finished and wrapped up first. And so I think the next thing that I'm probably going to do is actually work on the ship's boats area, or at least look into making sure it fits correctly. Or, I'm sorry, will be easy to work on in there, or the superstructure. We'll see, because once this is up, I can work back here. Whatever I choose. Point is, this had to go into place first. So there it is. Next thing we're going to do is get it painted up, and I'll show you everything that the couple of stairs and everything that we did for this episode. So let's go ahead and get painting here. So here we go, all painted up. This is our funnel, smokestack, whatever you want to call it. All painted up. We got some little bit of wear and tear to match everything else that's going on in this build. And yeah, it looks good. Let's turn it around, get some light on the other side. So you can see, you know, just some little rust spots here and there, and on some of the raised surfaces and the flat surfaces I hit it with a lightened version of the navy blue just to show a little bit of sun bleaching. Here, this is really good in the back there. You could see the tones change just a little bit. That's not the lighting, that's the actual airbrushing. Masked off the top, hit it with just some flat black, no big deal. Alright, so we've got our funnel all assembled. We've, like I said, started to get some of the stairs in place and getting some of these details wrapped up. Starting to get a little bit busy, starting to be a lot more productive. The base is out in the garage being worked on. It actually turns out it's just easier and lighter to move around, not on the base yet. So as long as I can get away with that, I'm going to. I need to sort out the anchor chains situation, put the anchors in. There's some little things that, you know, go on the bow and on the stern. There's cranes and things like that. Those will probably be last. Those actually probably will be assembled once the base is on, because by then I don't want to be swinging around, reaching over and knocking stuff off. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching again. Did the best I could to get some progress made over the weekend. This is zoomed all the way out. As you can see, it's a big ship. Alright guys, we'll catch up with you next time.